glad to be joined by Jeff Bellotti of Wyndham Hotel and Resorts. Wyndham Hotels have been really terrific company over the years. Brian Goldner of Hasbro, Dave Hoffman of Dunkin' Brands, Gary Kelly of Southwest Airlines. Really good jobs they've done. Rodney McMullen of Kroger. Thanks, Rodney. Oscar Munoz, United. Thank you, Oscar. United Airlines. Brad Smith of Microsoft. That stock has done very well, I will say. Great job. Great job. Sonia Sengal of Gap. And thank you very much. Also with us are Secretary of Treasury Steve Mnuchin and Secretary of Labor Gene Scalia. Our nation continues to mourn for the lives claimed by the virus and grieve for the families who have lost loved ones. We continue to battle the invisible enemy. We're directing the full resources and support of the federal government to safeguard high-risk populations, especially in nursing homes. We've been a very powerful strategy on nursing homes for quite a while. The best strategy for public health is to aggressively protect the most vulnerable while allowing younger and healthier Americans to work safely. Nationwide hospitalizations, new cases and deaths are
那么这是在
all
今天呢
declining.
川普总统所进行的跟各行主管重启经济的一个圆桌会议。那么在今天稍早的时候呢，那么他对于这个就是关于中国的一些问题啊，他重申对中国的不满，在稍早有个记者会。那么在现在的记者会是一个圆桌会议，对于重启经济，他谈到了关于这个疫情，他说我们要跟联邦政府呢继续要保护我们这些高危险群的这个族群的。那么在疗养院也做了很技术上的事情。我们的公共卫生策略就是要保护这些高危险群的这些族群，而且让这年轻的美国人他们都能够安全的去工作。那么同时呢，我们也看到了每一天的死亡人数跟病例人数呢，也都在下降之中。每个州呢都在展示了他们可以去减缓病毒蔓延的能力。那么我们现在已经做了1500万个测试，比每一个国家的多。那么而且可以说是比任何国家都成倍数之多的多。那么1500万的测试，我只能说是破纪录了。在明天的时候呢，我们将会给你一个测试上的一个新的日感，我们有个新的测试会出来，简直是没有人能够想象到。那么在几个月之前呢，是完全想不到的一件事情。那么在明天我们将会呈现一个新的测试。那么像是在佛州啊，他们是供过于求他们的测试。那么我们经过了。那么在当时可以说完全没有的这库存系统，可是现在我们这库存了非常的多，因为我们在呼吸机的库存呢，我们尽力而为，所以现在有很多的库存，所以说现在每一个人也有了口罩了。我们要维持我们的公共的安全和卫生，同时还有我们的经济稳定。
Of any country, not just ours. The greatest in history.
我们看到我们的经济发展呢，仍然在持续之中。
We've had the best numbers in every way, whether it's the biggest tax cuts.
我们现在持续的保护着我们脆弱人群呢，我们有非常多的一个进展。那么在隐形的敌人上面呢，我们学到了很多啊，从来都没有人看过像这样子的一个事情。在之前，在1917年的时候曾经发生过。可是我一定要谢谢我们这些伟大的企业，今天都在我们的现场，他们都代表了我们企业，也代表了我们的国家美国。我们会跟他们好好的讨论的，看他们有什么样子的一些建议。我们一定会有一个非常强健的回归。之前我们一个最伟大的经济，在历史上呢，也比其他的国家都还要伟大。那么我们之前我们的这出生率呢也是数据最高， 同时呢，我们有很大的一个减税制度，同时也消除了很多条条规繁缛节啊不必要的这些手续。同时，我们军方合作，我们有很多好的设备啊。那么我们看到很多设备都已经出现了，而且这些设备都是 Made in USA， 在美国制造的。你看，我们对于这些退伍军人呢，他们所做的都是他们做的。那么之前很多的事情他们都没有办法做到，可是呢，我们却做到，同时可以很快的做一些临床测验。你知道我们目前的处境是非常的好。那么这预测以前是预测有100万到200万人的死亡啊，甚至于超过200万人的死亡。我就说，就算是一个人的死都太多了。那么在源头的中国其实就应该阻止的，可是中国没有阻止，所以全世界都感染了病毒，是非常难过的一件事情。所以我们只好关闭了伟大的经济体。我们很快就关闭了，但是我们很快也对中国实行了旅行禁令，很早就采取了行动。很多人告诉我不要这么做。但是现在他们告诉我，你当时的确是应当这么做，所以我是对的。现在我们很长远的路要走，不过我们看到这些数据呢，的确是好的。我们看到股票市场也非常好，那么代表了我们人民非常有信心。而在治疗方面呢，跟医疗方面呢都做得非常好，我们很快就会得到一个非常令人振奋的答案了。我们以数据的方法，数据跟军事人权合作。那么他们很快就会去分发了这些物资，所以说呢，我们很快就可以得到疫苗。在之前的时候，你知道开发疫苗都是要花很长时间，可这次我们却是以最快速的时间来开发这个疫苗。我们军事人员呢，很快也动员我们的军人呢。那么现在他们就很快动摇我们的疫苗跟治疗方法的开发。我们在疫苗方面做得非常的好，那么治疗方法也做得很好。那我们也可以用“治愈”这个词来讲，就是把它给治好。所以我要谢谢大家在这儿，我们有很多乐观的事情要跟大家来分享。我想大家看到很多的数据，那么很多州他们所试出来这些数据呢，他们都已经开放了。看到他们的数据真的是超乎我们的想象，所以我们是非常的满意。现在我们要让每一个人都来讲一讲啊。首先，也就是希望你们来讲讲你们的一些想法、计划跟你们公司的情况。你可以看到，今天我们有很多记者都在现场啊。我们请第一位。谢谢总统。我带到 GAP， 那么也谢谢大家能够让我们很安全的开启了我们的商店呢。我很荣幸代表了我们最大的服饰产业 GAP。
We did have a very strong and powerful e-commerce business, so we're the second.
那么我们 Old Navy 的 Republic 都是超过40亿的企业，像是 Old Navy 啊，大家也很熟悉，是美国第2大的服饰产业。
And so that's been great. We have, over 100,000 employees that we're anxious to really bring back to work.
那么我们的企业在美国内具有很久的历史，也代表了美国的精神。我们很高兴啊，也很期待。那么又能够再度的开启啊，而且我们已经开始了我们的这些商店了哈。那么在疫情之前，我们每天都有100万人来到我们的店里头来买东西。那么在3月份我们关闭的时候，马上就失去了70%的营业额。可是我们很快呢就反应了，我们看到这个做的这些艰难的一些决定，比如说裁员，我们必须要做了。我们接着这个非常强大的电子商业。所以说呢，在这方面我们是做得好的。所以说在这方面呢，基本上来讲还是不错。我们有10万个员工，我们都希望能够让他们赶快来复工啊，继续回到工作岗位上来。那么继续跟我们的零售业的领袖们呢，来规划出一个新的开启这个方针的同时。也希望我们的员工呢，跟我们的顾客呢，都感觉到安全，让他们回来继续来到我们 Gap 这个店里头来消费、买东西、买衣服。我们很高兴啊， 那么在这个月呢，这些很多商店都要开启了。那么这些商店都有很多新的防疫措施，还有我们这些卫生方面的，还有清洁，比如说这还戴口罩、洗手液等等。我们每个员工都会应付这些客人，应对得非常的好。那么在昨天的时候呢，我会去德州跟亚利桑那州这些商店去拜访过了。我看到我们的员工跟我们的那些店主们，他们都很高兴，他们能够复工啊。而且很多员工，他都含着眼泪跟我讲啊，说他很高兴能够再度回到工作岗位上，非常谢谢这个联邦政府给我们的帮助，能够重启我们的商业，重启我们的生意。我知道1/4的美国人都在零售业里头来工作啊，所以呢，我要说，现在有50%的零售业呢是关严了。那么50%零售业是开门的。那么在我们往前面看的同时呢，大家要了解好，那么我们一定要继续坚守我们的防疫措施。我们希望能够公平的。那么我们希望能够公平的跟所有的行业一起来竞争。非常谢谢总统。这是财务部长他讲的。我们跟航空公司呢也在好好的合作。我们知道旅游业在这个疫情呢受到很大的冲击，所以我非常谢谢你们跟我们的合作。这是 After， 他说现在的经济刺激法案给了我们一个很好的一个方向。您知道我的故事了，所以我不会讲太多。我也2个幻灯片，让大家能够知道我们现在做了一些什么样子的事情。首先呢，我们要维持我们航空业的一个安全。我知道呢，这并不是一个全世界最安全的一个行业所以说呢，我们要做非常多、非常精密的安全措施。现在我们要让每个人都戴了口罩，同时呢，也让他们每个人都能够经常去清洁啊，同时尽可能不要去接触一些所有的物体的表面。同时，我也让我们的客户自己他们去选择他们想要坐哪个位置。那么，在这个我们飞机上的一些过滤器还有呢，就是口罩呢，那么每个人都可以戴着口罩，这样子的话就可以大大的呢，就可以把这些病毒呢过滤在外了。所以说呢，我们都在这方面呢努力的来进行着。同时呢，我们现在跟 Quora 这个合作啊，那么他们有非常强的这个清洁剂量。同时有一个诊所，它也给我们很多的一些知识和指导，告诉我们该怎么样来做。所以呢，这就是我们现在所做的一个工作。关于安全措施方面呢，我们来看看另外一张幻灯片啊，这是一个非常明显的，正是我们的行业呢都在谈论的一个事情。很多人都会飞到不同的地方像是旅馆啊，还有餐馆啊，还有一些主题园区，都需要来面对这些事情，来应对他们。所以说，把各行各业呢都带到了这些考虑里头，同时航空业呢只是部分之一。所以从这个卫生观点来看呢，那么我知道美国是非常超前的，领导世界的，所以非常谢谢啊你们之间的这些对话。那么最后一个观点呢，就是我们是个全球的一个产业，我们飞到60个国家，全球60个国家之多，并不是说只是一个地方、一个点、一个城市而已啊，而是60个国家。关于中国的问题呢，那么其实当我们开始飞以后呢，每个国家都有不同的规定。当我们在全球各地飞来飞去的时候，我们也希望把这个伤害率呢能够减到最小啊。谢谢总统，总统谢谢他。这是 Larry。谢谢您跟我们一起来工作，站在一条线上。
for the month of April, 33%.
我们持续在根据我们的数据还有我们的指标。我们希望每个东西、每个事情都是能安全的来开放。我们的航空业还有我们的旅游业呢。
That's almost 10 times the norm. So that, my final point, as we open,
我们也可以看到这些需求呢都在增长啊。同时，我们也看到这股市呢，那么您说也做得非常的好，还有我们的汽油，还有我们的房子啊，那么这个需求量呢都在大大的增加。他们已经慢慢的呢回到了疫情之前的这种情况了。那么在今天我们看到了一个收入的一个报告，数字显示呢。那么在4月份的时候呢，是33%的这个。
And you could say a few words if you'd like, Jay.
Thank you, Mr. President. What I want to say is I appreciate the information.
我们就给了他们非常多的一些弹性啊。我们知道现在很多商店呢，其实都已经关门了，所以说他们没有地方去消费，所以我们也看到了。那么我们全国的老百姓们，他们的银行里头的储蓄呢，那么这比之前呢，比以前大了10倍之多。所以我们从这里可以看到，那个经济是可以回归的。川普说了，的确是我们第3季度呢是个转变期，而第4季度呢是会更好，而明年会更加的好啊。
Thank you very much, Jay.Thank you.
那么这是 HCC 的，他做得非常的好。请他讲几句话。
Well, thanks, Mr. President. It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of all the Southwest people, and my name is Gary Kelly. And again, I want to thank you. I want to thank Secretary Mnuchin. The CARES Act was exactly what we needed. The speed and the scope were just absolutely breathtaking. Before, the markets were closed.And after that, the markets opened up, and we've been able to do a significant amount of financing.
那么以目前我们来看，我们现在所有的市场来看啊，真的给我们很多的信心啊。那么我们的美联储还有我们财务部呢，真的是对我们整个美国的市场都非常支持。同时呢，还要谢谢啊，在美国，那么在市面上大家可以看到，那么很多的公司他们都给他们投资的人呢，那么预期的一些措施，所以非常谢谢。
Thank goodness we're not there, but I'll take.15% as opposed to 2%, so we've got a long way to go, but the trends are in the right direction.
这是西南航空公司主席啊。
I think what is important
我的名字叫做 Gary， 谢谢财务部长。这个经济刺激法案呢，确实是我们所需要的。
And that is our number one priority to make sure that we have a healthy and safe environment.
而且这个法案当时这个快速推出呢，确实让我们想都想不到。
But we published the Southwest Promise in early May.And it addresses cleaning of the
这就是我们经济所需要的。
deep cleaning of the
那么
airplane.
我会再度的讲啊。那么就是很多人曾经都已经讲过的，但是我还要再讲一遍，那就是我们的商业上面的一个问题啊。
So that the middle seats are open to allow for physical distancing. And it's a layered approach. The one thing that we would like to see, and I know that the administration is looking very carefully at this, is to add a health screening at the TSA checkpoint. I think a temperature check like we had today coming into the White House would be very sensible, along with a health declaration. And we're working closely with the TSA on that point. I think beyond that, I think
环境啊，那么我们就像是刚才他讲的，我们西南航空公司在4月初的时候，我们就大大清洁我们的机场，还有我们的飞机啊。同时，我们的员工跟顾客呢都必须要戴口罩，我们不会让这飞机人坐满，所以说是所谓的 social distance 社交距离的，那么都会保持着，这是我们所考量的。那么我们所希望看到的一件事情呢，那么我知道政府也非常关注的一件事情，那就是在我们进到机场的时候，我们有一个体温检测，就像是我们在今天进入白宫的时候，也有很多的检测是一样的道理啊。我们跟 TSA 航空管理局呢密切合作。
Lastly, again, I wanted to thank you all for the support with the payroll support program. We've never had a furlough
我觉得呢，
or
您提到
layoff
的
or
这
pay
个
cut in
以
our
后的
history
减
at
税，那么
Southwest.
确实
We
这个
sure
减
don't
税对我
want to
们
have
来说
that
呢会有
now.
很大的帮助。
So thank you again, and we're going to fight the good fight here.
另外呢，在我们的销售跟航空业都在恢复的同时呢，我们当然就很期待这个减税的措施了。还有这免责法案
We've made amazing progress together with the American people and with you all. As you heard the president describe, new hospitalizations are down month over month by 50%. The fatalities that we all grieve are down significantly week over week. We're excitingly really finding governors and mayors being able to respond to the epidemic in a new way. Proactive testing, finding new cases, contact tracing, and stopping outbreaks. We're seeing that over and over again, county by county, metro by metro. I think we're working with all of the healthcare providers because just as we want to open up America safely, we want to make sure every American has access to healthcare. We want to see our babies immunized. We want to see them at their well-baby checkups. We want to see pregnant women cared for in their appointments, and we want to see the hospitals back caring for people and doing elective surgery and ensuring people are getting their cancer screenings. So as we open up the economy, we also want to ensure the Americans are not only COVID-free, but have all their health care taken care of.
So you're seeing much improved numbers.
Much improved numbers, and I think this proactive testing, having enough tests available not only for diagnosing at the hospitals and clinics, but having an abundance of testing available to really be able to do what we talk about is proactive surveillance, going into nursing homes and testing 100% of the residents, 100% of the workers, working in food processing plants to test everyone that is there and really stopping outbreaks before they start. This asymptomatic piece is unique among diseases, and we have that in HIV, we have it in this particular respiratory disease. And so you have to test proactively to find asymptomatic. No one intends to infect others. They just don't know they're infected themselves. And so working with states and governors and mayors to really set up those testing sites has really been extraordinary. And having it testing available at that level, I think we're about 350, 400,000 tests a day. We're up to having tested 5% of every American.
而且大量的人呢都进行了测试啊，所以才会主动的进行人口的建设，包括养老院的100%的人跟工人呢都进行了检测，希望能够检测每一个人在那边的人。那么在爆发开始之前就将它给扼杀掉啊，包括这无症状的病人呢，那么真的是没有办法能够治疗，但是我们同样在做这些努力。那么像是艾滋病或其他疾病其实也出现这种情况啊，所以说大家必须要主动的进行测试。因为没有人希望能够把这些情况带给其他人啊，所以说我们现在跟州还有州长们呢，大家进行了合作。
It's also incredible honor to see how our brands are resonating with consumers, more people getting together and connecting and playing with games and brands like Play-Doh as they spend time together. We were talking, as we were coming together today, just how people are making new connections, and we're very excited about that, and then the reopening of the economy. And I also have to thank you for the partnership that we've had over time with Director Kudlow, and it's great to get the support that we've seen from Secretary Mnuchin as well. You know, from health screenings to interactive handbooks, safe return to the office, safe social distancing, staggering shifts in our warehouses and factory floors, we are safely reopening U.S. businesses. If we could go to the next slide. We've worked closely with governors in our region, the Rhode Island Governor Raimondo and the Massachusetts Governor Baker, to design safe reopening guidelines. I'm especially proud of our Hasbro safety folks and operations. We've set a standard in our factories and warehouse operations across the country for consumer goods manufacturers. In fact, we're training other consumer goods manufacturers to help them open safely in the U.S. from Massachusetts to Texas. Again, I'm very pleased to be here. I'm very proud of our employees. They're all very excited about getting back to work. And we've been working all along, and as our factories closed down during certain times over the last few months, our teams came together to make face shields in our factories, 50,000 a week for them to give to healthcare workers, and we've made good use of those factories, and we're now happy to see them back up and running. And so thank you again, and thank you for your
重新开放指示的规划，能够让你们看到我们的工厂，而我们的工厂里头呢都有一定的标准。那么甚至于全国我们的工厂都有它一定的一个标准，对我们的制造业跟顾客呢都有一定的指挥啊，让他们重新的开放安全的。那么真的很高兴，我很高兴到这边来，我也以我的为我的员工感到自豪，让他们很激动能重新回到他们的工作岗位上。当我们工厂关闭的时候呢，那么在过去几个月里头，我们的团队仍然是挺持而做出了，那么像是说是制造面罩啊，我们在每个礼拜生产了5万个的面罩给我们的医疗人员。现在呢，我们也很高兴呢，那么让这个工厂呢继续的恢复他们原来的工作来运作。
We've rallied around that mantra of people over profits and doing the right thing there. And look, we're very proud that we didn't have to furlough or do layoffs during all of that. And look, our great franchisees, I'm really proud of the work that they've been doing in the communities they serve. They live in these communities. They're proud to be there. They serve probably coffee, donuts, ice cream to over 300 hospitals. They continue to do that. They raised $1.5 million for food banks, including the Capital Food Bank here in our backyard here in D.C. as well. And so, as somebody said, we're starting to see a lot of hope and optimism in our business today. We're seeing really good signs of encouraging green shoots right now. We're working with the franchisees, again, to get America working again, looking at a really aggressive hiring campaign over the summer. But I'd say it's 3 areas that we focused on that was really a good North Star for us. And the first was we got in early on a lot of the safety measures, making investments in safety measures as brand standards across both brands. But for us and brands like Dunkin' and Baskin, our mission is to give the consumer as many ways to access your brand on their terms. We know there's a lot of consumers out there that have varying levels of comfort in terms of what's going on right now. So whether it's drive-through, curbside, pick-up windows, delivery, you'll hear a lot about digital today as well. Giving the consumer as many options, as many choices to access your brand is important. And I think the last thing, I'll repeat what a few other people said. Thank you to you and your administration and the federal government for the PPP program that has really allowed us to keep our franchisees standing up, allowed them to continue to serve the communities, and keep America working. And my ask in all of this would be the second version of this that sailed through the House, the flexibility plan on PPP. I'm just hoping that it sails through cleanly and gets to your desk to be signed, because that's another great example of helping small independent business owners like our franchisees keep America working right now. So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, President Trump, and I really appreciate the invitation to talk about reopening businesses in America. My name is Rodney McMullen. I'm the Chairman and CEO of Kroger. I represent over 500,000 associates, and we've hired over 100,000 people over the last 2 months. And, our job is to keep our supply chain operating, fresh, affordable food and essentials. And we operate 2,800 stores, 35 manufacturing plants, 44 distribution facilities. If you look at our associates, we've invested over $800 million in safety procedures and rewards for our associates over the last 8-9 weeks. Obviously, we all do everything we can to make sure we keep our employees safe and on a daily basis. If you look at our customers, we have 11 million people a day that come into our stores. So the things that we're doing to protect our employees, we're also doing the same thing to protect our customers. We use every available way of trying to remind customers on social distancing, limiting the number of people in the stores. We have an in-store radio network that every 15 minutes we remind people of social distancing. But everything that we can do, we're trying to remind people to stay safe and do things. We also are supporting our business and continuing to make sure that we have a viable, strong business over time and supporting the communities that we operate in. Over the last year, working with local food banks, we've been able to provide over the last 3 years over 1 billion meals with local food banks, and it's something that in the United States, no one should have to go to bed tonight hungry. We have so many resources as a country, and together we can eliminate food waste, and when we eliminate food waste, we can make sure no one goes to bed hungry. Obviously, as one of the things that we thought it would be helpful to pay forward, as a company that's operated throughout the pandemic, we've learned a lot. And one of the things you learn is be agile and move quickly, and if you think you should do something, you probably should do it. With that, we developed a 59-page blueprint that we made public, and we've shared it. And I know the other day I was on the Today Show, and they asked me like 4 times, why would you do that? And one of the things that was incredibly helpful for us is other retailers across the world that were in front of us from the pandemic standpoint was nice enough to share their learnings with us. And we thought it was only fair and appropriate for us to share our learnings with others. We've had over 100,000 site visits on that. We've had over 26,000 individuals and companies download that. We get a ton of notes from small companies in terms of their appreciation. If you look at all the companies in this room, we have a lot of resources. But if you think about somebody with 50 employees or 100 employees or 200 employees, the resources they have is just not the same as us. And so sharing that across has been something that's been important, and it's a real pleasure to represent all the Kroger associates and being able to help America get started again. So thank you, Mr. President.
那么从这个病毒的角度来看，他们也把他们的经验提供给了我们，我觉得是非常的公平，把我们的经验呢也都分享给了他们。
Sir, I think that you can sense the optimism around the room. That businesses, really a cross-section of American businesses collected here, are getting back to work. And I think this cross-section is extraordinarily representative of what we're seeing all around America. And as Larry mentioned, as you know, and as you require us, we watch every little detail of the economy every day. And there are now 27 states where more than 75% of the businesses are open. That was almost none a few weeks ago. And there are 28 states where 80% of the workforce is back to work. And so the question then becomes, and it's the last thing I'll say, that the people in this room are saying, yes, but will we have demand for our product? And what we learned today in the personal income report that Larry said is because you required historic policy action, we got money to people who needed it while they were laid off because of big unemployment insurance checks and because of the $1,200 checks that we mailed people. They have the income now that the economies are starting to go out and demand product. And so we're very, very bullish on what's going on with the
Thank you very much, Kevin.
那么就像刚才 Larry 所讲的，那么在你的要求之下，每天我们都关注经济上的这所有的动向。那么有27个州呢，
Wyndham Hotels and Resorts is the world's largest franchisor, great state in New Jersey.
他们都已经开放了。那么在几个礼拜之前还一点都没有开的。那么有些80%这些的行业都已经那么开了，而且工人都回去上班了。那么现在说最重要的一点呢？
Our hotels here in the United States really never closed. We were serving frontline workers. We were serving the National Guard, emergency workers. And a large part of that had to do, if I could have the next slide, to the support that, and we really have to, the industry has to call out Secretary Mnuchin, and you've been there for us all along. You've listened to us. The PPP Act has been monumental. 95% of our franchisees have applied for either a PPP or an EIDL loan. And we estimate from the surveys that we're hearing back that 80% of them have received one of those. And they view it as an absolute lifeline. So what as Dave said is most important. This is going to be a long recovery, even though we've remained open. The most important thing for our franchisees is seeing this amendment to the 75-25 rule, which is in the bill, seeing the expansion of that loan term from 2 years to 5 years, I mean, that's critical for our small business owners. And extending, as the Secretary and I were talking earlier, our ability to rehire those employees that we have had to furlough, to be able to bring them back, not have it expire on June 30, but have that continue till the end of the year is critical for us. We also think the idea of a temporary travel tax to spur leisure travel is important, and we know the administration is in favor of that. And bringing back the full deductibility of necessary business expenses to spur business travel would be very, very helpful to opening our country up again, because as Oscar said, as Gary said, just as planes are safe, hotels are safe. They're safe because we've been safe throughout this crisis with again, 90% of our hotels operating at low occupancy. Demand is coming back, but we need those consumers to feel safe. And we just thank you for everything that you and Secretary and Congress is doing on this industry's behalf, because it's going to be a tough road back.
Well, it's going away, but I think we'll have vaccines, and I think we're going to have therapeutics, and maybe even beyond that, maybe a cure. And it won't be in the long distance, so I really think that's going to be helpful. And regardless, it's going away, but that would certainly speed up the process. So we appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you very much.
因为这样子吧，这真能够帮助，对我们来说很大的帮助，能够帮助我们国家重新开放。就像 Larry 刚才所提到的，要保证我们的航空业、酒店业的安全。因为我们在整场的会议中都一直在保持安全。
during the pandemic, some able to stay open, some really having great difficulty doing it. But one thing we've heard today, and we had conversations earlier before the meeting got underway, I think all of them are very, very focused on safety of their customers, safety of their employees. I don't think there's been a time when American businesses have been as focused on safety as they are right now. And that's a great thing for bringing customers back, bringing workers back. It's been a focus of ours at the Labor Department actually since January. We've tried to help American workers through this crisis in so many different ways, but as early as January we were providing guidelines to businesses. We've now put out guidelines to 16 different specific industries on how they can reopen safely. We'll continue to do that so that companies understand what's expected of them, can have confidence in what they need to do, and same for workers. And we're mindful that not every company is going to focus the right way on these things, so we'll continue to respond to employee concerns, complaints as they come in. As Larry and Kevin said, Mr. President, we've turned a corner. We put out unemployment numbers yesterday showing that for the first time since February, the number of people on unemployment dropped. And that's great, but the number of filing is still much higher than we want.
That's a good sign, isn't it?
We've turned the corner, Mr. President, and we'll get back there to that extraordinary economy that you built so recently, and we're going to do it safely.
所以我们也给他们一些很重要的一些指示，同时对各行各业，包括60个不同的工业给他们的指示。 让他们重新安全的干饭，同时对他们工作人做人员，让他们能够了解啊、理解到我们对他期望什么，他们继续做他们的事情。同时对员工来讲，也让他们非常的放心的去工作。我们希望每公司能够做出这些正确的选择，能够回应。
Not surprisingly, when you're in a business and you're in a sector that creates the tools that people can use to work from home,
在昨天的时候，我们的失业率从2月份以来第一次，我们的失业数字出现了下降。这是一个
has really been much broader than that. It's been twofold. One is to provide the data resources and the technology to support the public health needs of the country, from public health agencies to hospitals to the researchers, as you mentioned, who are on the quest for a vaccine and therapeutics and the like. And I think more broadly, it has been to work with, frankly, many of these companies around this table to sustain the economy these past few months so that employees could work from home, so students could study from home, so that the government could operate from home. Now, it's all about phase two. And I think you put it well. It's all about both protecting public health
那么真的在这些情况，我们居然能够让自己的员工在家里都能上班，那这就是我们不让公司所做的工作。那么在疫情初期的任务呢，非常的大，其中一个呢就是要给出这些技术上的支持等等，让人们呢在公共健康上的支持，包括的公共健康机构，还有这个私营公司，他们研究包括治疗方法等等。再加上研发，那从更广的一个角度来看呢，我们有更多不同的公司跟不同的公司来进行合作，包括一些我们在圆桌会议上的公司。那么在过去几个月里头，让我们的员工呢在家里头能够工作，学生在家里头能够上课，让我们政府的员工也能够继续在工作，报社的员工也能在家里头工作。总说你说的非常好，这就是保护公共的健康。那么也就是为了重新开放基建。现在我们已经看到某种程度上啊，那么就像这个仪表一样，就像是开关是慢慢的开关啊，这是一个仪表，我们可以看到不同工业、不同行业、不同的使用。我们的确看到这个技术，我们在这个上面发挥了一个特别的作用啊。那么在幻灯片上大家可以看到，那么有9个不同的领域，那么有一个对于这个健康方面的要求等等。我们来看第一个呢，就是要利用技术跟人们合作，去监测它这个病毒的发生，包括是紧急的健康、以状态的宣告等等。很多员工也都需要这一点了。那么对于他的员工来讲呢，也是非常重要，不能够纸上谈兵而已。我们也为我们员工的开发呢，意识到了每个员工都需要这样子的措施。所以说，能够尽快的每一个人提供这样子的一个服务。第二个就是对于这些公司来讲，就非常重要的就是持续追踪这个工作，包括微软，你知道吗？它正在建立这个追踪的技术，包括个人使用或者雇主啊，或者公共健康机构可以使用的技术。那么之后就是提醒，这是通过个人啊可以做的，与公共健康的他们可以一起来合作的。那么这关键就是在下一道幻灯片，大家来看看啊，可以说让大家可以用个非常舒服的一个这个技术上来进行来个这个检测啊，而且可以保护他们的隐私啊，而让他们有信心。那么这一点我们就会致力去做的。那么往后退一步来看的话，我们也可以看到这是非常正确的。那么就是像这个时间呢，可以减少宽带上的一个差距啊。那么可以看到有更多的工作的需求了。那么在6个月之前呢，还不是这样的一个状况，可是现在呢是这样子一个时刻。那么就像你刚才讲的啊，要更加关注于这个测试，我们看到，那么在这个测试上有很大的一个进步了。可是我觉得这个病毒之外呢，我们还更雄心勃勃，就像政府所讲的，那么所定的一个更高的目标，要保持这个进步。如果说你会让学生回到这个校园里头上课，让员工回到他们的原来工作场所的话，您可以看到很多的私人企业有这个能力来进行测试，就算是没有这些病毒的人呢，也来进行测试，我觉得这就是更进一步了。总的说，非常感谢你。你刚才发的第一个图片非常好看，这是白个人照片，我都没有看过。我觉得这个微软真是了不起，我非常的感谢你。还有问题吗？
It's very accurate in the sense that when you do have looting, like you had last night, people often get shot and they die, and that's not good, and we don't want that to happen. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. In the past, you've criticized NFL players for their protest against police brutality. Given what we've seen with George Floyd and what we saw with the delays in the case of Ahmaud Arbery, does that change your views around those NFL protests? And also, given that you had a message for those in the streets of Minneapolis, do you have a statement to make about the police that are involved in such police brutality incidents?
Yeah, I didn't like what I saw at all. I thought it was a terrible thing, a terrible picture. I think that it's sad in so many ways from the standpoint of the family.
我们在 Looting Star Shooting Star 所拿来这句话，这是我会讲的，它是非常的准确。就是有人开始抢劫的时候，就像昨晚所发生的，一般人们都受了枪击，甚至于死亡，这不是一件好事。我不希望它这样发生。记者问到了，感谢川普总统。
We also know that most policemen, you see the great job they do. They do a fantastic job. But this was a terrible insult to police and to policemen. And I know the Justice Department will, as you know, it's a local case, but I know the Justice Department is also looking at it very strongly. Say it again, I can't.
Does that change your views around the NFL protests on this issue? They were peaceful protests. Does that change your stance on that at all?
Yeah, it should be a peaceful protest. I think really, in memory of George Floyd, I think it should be peaceful.
损伤，这是非常糟糕的一件事情。那么他们家庭承受很大的痛苦啊。那么可以看这个死者他在当时没有办法哭泣。那么我相信每个人看到这个影片都会感觉到非常的痛苦跟悲伤。我也知道大部分的警察呢，你看到他们所做事的，他们出色的工作，他们真的做得非常好。但是这一次的行为呢，对警察一个很大的侮辱啊！我知道我们的司法部门，包括当地的这些。是警察，还有司法部门都会来处理这个案件，而我们司法部门也会介入其中。
Well, we're certainly not happy with what happened with respect to China. They have a virus that started, and when it got out of control, perhaps I assume that's what happened. It got out of control, whichever way, and they stopped it from going to China, but they didn't stop it from going to the rest of the world. So nobody likes that. That was not good. They did not do a good job. So I don't know if it was incompetence or it was done for some other reason. But I know that I didn't see anything in Beijing and I didn't see anything in other Chinese cities, but I did see them in New York, in London, in Paris. We saw them in Spain and we saw them in Italy. We saw the enemy, the invisible enemy come out. And all over the world, 186 countries and probably more than that now. And they stopped it in China, but they didn't stop it going to Europe and the United States and the rest of the world. So what's that all about? And we have to do a very strong study and figure that out.
他们不让这个疫情啊，在中国蔓延，却让这个疫情蔓延到全世界，说没人喜欢这个事情一点都不好，他们没有好好做他们的工作，所以我不知道他们是无能。
They should have never allowed this to happen. They could have stopped it at the source. We asked them to come in and help them, and they didn't want help from anybody. Even the World Health Organization, they wanted to go in, and they were delayed. But we asked to go in very specifically, and they didn't want any help. They didn't need any help, and then it got out of control in some form. But it didn't seem to get out of control when it came to going to other parts of China because it didn't go very far. But it did come to the United States, it did come to Europe, and all over the world.
阻止掉，却让这个到进欧洲，到其他的国家来说，我们一定要好好去调查这件事情。接着问呢，您取消了香港的特殊地位了吗？川普说，
Well, I just expressed my sorrow.
我们现在逐步这么做。
Horrible thing to witness, and I've seen bad things. I've seen many bad things, and that was just a horrible thing to witness and to watch.
我说我们要去中国去帮助他们，他却不让我们去帮助他们。这打不了，世界卫生组织呢，他们都是要进入中国去帮助他们，可是他们也不让世界国际卫生组织去。中国都不想要任何的帮助，也不需要他们的帮助，就让这个疫情失控了。可是他们却没有让这个疫情蔓延到中国其他的地方啊，就让这个疫情跑到了世界国家，还有我们美国。记者问。
Brazil, you said?
Yes. My question is, there are many comparisons between the way you and the Brazilian president handled the pandemic. Do you think it's a fair comparison? And how long do you think the travel ban will be in place?
很难让人接受的一个事实。
Well, the Brazilian president is a friend of mine, and he's working very hard. And they do have a big outbreak. And I can tell you, he's a very good man, and he loves his country incredibly well. They've had a hard time. There's no question about it. They went a different route than we did. We did a shutdown. They decided to do it a different way. They had a very hard time.
He's against social distancing at the moment where the Brazil is.
Take that just for a second.
Sure. He is against social distancing and lockdown at the moment where the numbers in Brazil are skyrocketing. What do you think about that?
Well, he went a different way. Brazil went a different way, and certainly they're having a hard time. I don't want to be critical of anybody because I have great respect for him, and he's doing a very good job with the country. Then he got hit. He got hit like everybody else. They went about it differently than us. I closed down from China. I closed down from Europe, and we did a lot of close downs. We had to close down from Brazil. You're asking about Brazil. We closed down, as you know, the other night from Brazil. But it's a tough time they're having in Brazil. It's a great country, great place, great people, but they're having a very tough time.
How long do you think the ban will be in place for Brazil? And are you also thinking Russia and
I'd
India?
like to take the ban off as soon as we can.
As soon as we can.
Yes, please.
Yeah, Mr. President, do you believe that there's a problem with police brutality in America? And if you do, what would you do about it?
Well, I think that police brutality certainly is something that we've been hearing about, reading about, studying. I have for many years. And we all have to say, and I think most people would admit that most of the policemen and women that I've seen have been outstanding. When you have something like this happen, you really you look at it and you just say, how does a thing like that happen? Because it just seems so bad to watch. But, police have been very outstanding. Our crime rates are way down right now in this country. And way down. The police have done a great job. Something like this happens and you really say, it's so bad in so many different ways and so unfortunate.
You see the
please go ahead.
Yes, Mr. President, it certainly seems like you're sympathetic to some of the frustration expressed by the protesters last night. I want to ask you, first off, do you think there were good people out protesting in Minneapolis last night?
And also, were there
good people among the protesters? And then also more broadly, what is your message to Black Americans and others who just are really frustrated and saddened to see another video of a Black man being killed in police custody?
Well, certainly there were a lot of different people, and there were good people too, and they were protesting, and they were protesting for the right reason. They were protesting in honor of a man, George Floyd, where something happened that shouldn't have happened. In my opinion, from what I've seen, certainly something happened that shouldn't have happened. Yeah, you had a lot of people out there that were protesting out of sorrow, and then you had people that got out of control, some people. And they did I think they did a great disservice to their state and to their city and to really our country, what they did last night. And we brought in the National Guard today, and they're there, and that won't happen again. It can't happen again. We can never let that happen again. That was run by the mayor of a city, and it got, in all fairness to him, he was in a tough position, but I don't think they were very well prepared. But we brought in the National Guard. They'll be very prepared tonight. Thank you all very much. Thank you, please.
Mr. President, would you support a civil Justice Department investigation? Come on, guys, let's go.
那么的确是有很多人在外面呢，现在是在外面抗议啊。
新闻可以恢复吗？
新闻可以照出来。新闻照出来，因为上面又没写他地址，又没写他名字。好，那我们就把新闻恢复。
我们不想让这个失控的情况呢再继续发生啊。现在这个 Minneapolis 市长呢，确实他现在处境非常的艰难。那么确实他们没有把事情处理得很好，那么只好就让我们的国民警卫队去帮忙了。
这个如果要处理，再另外跟我。我说这个如果要，这个我们会弄。这个如果要再处理，